delighted to be here and happy to jump on a plane, obviously, to see such wonderful partners as we have today, and pretty honored to be here. So my name's Andy Pattison. As has been said, I'm team lead for digital channels. I've got about half an hour. I'm going to speak for about 15, 20 minutes, and then I hope that you will have some questions for me and that we can interact a bit, because this is Chat for Impact. No one just wants to listen to a white European male tell the world how things are, right? So please be ready for your questions. If not, I'm going to pick on people, so start now. The job of our team is to get more health messages to more people through more channels, like I said before, but so that they can make better health decisions and live healthier lives. I work almost exclusively with the tech industry. That means sitting down with the Googles of the world, the Metas, TikToks of the world, to try and get our content out there, but also our partners' content. So the purpose of our team is we work in 3 pillars. The first pillar is raising content, where we get our content and Ministries of Health content out into the real world. Also our partners, because we're very aware at WHO that our local partners are often better at local implementation than we are. So we really want to get those messages to those populations. We fight misinformation, as I alluded to on the panel discussion. That involves fighting the individual posts, but a lot of the work is on the policy teams, the safety and security teams. And the work that we've done, with Twitter, for example, at the beginning of the pandemic, was revolutionary on how we were able to get them to understand content moderation when it comes to safety and security of individuals. We don't know how that's going to end up now that there's been a change of management. I must admit, personally, I'm a little bit worried that it's going to go off the rails, as we've seen in the last 2 weeks. At the moment, it's very comical how it's all happening, and he's bearing the brunt of his own success. But at the same time, from my point of view, it's actually quite worrying further down the line. Health misinformation spread by leaders, influencers, is obviously costing people's lives, and there's absolutely no need for it. It's preventable. And the third pillar of our work is gaining user insights. Believe it or not, you probably all think WHO of like massive call centers and loads of people. My team is 4 people, 3 of which are on very short-term contracts. So we are, like everybody probably in this room, strapped for resources. So user insights are super important for us. We need to be able to put our resources where they're actually going to make an impact and make a difference in what we do today. When we talk about our projects, we think about 3 different groups of audience. And today I'm going to be speaking about the final group. But I want you to think about this like, the first group is the hyper-connected. These are people like you and me who have got multiple screens, easy access to the internet. We don't really care about cost. Once we've decided our package, we just consume it. Bandwidth as well is something we don't really bother about. We just are lucky in that space. These are the hyper-connected. I would say 99% of digital projects, which I've seen in the last 3 years, target these individuals, which means that they are also swamped with information. We have the whole infodemic problem where people have too much information, never mind just misinformation. The second group of people, which we'll talk about as well a little bit today, is those that have access to a smartphone or a laptop, but money is a big issue. Data costs are a problem. They really watch what they're going to do, how they consume data. Also, connectivity is difficult. So they need products which are not streaming. They need products which, when it connects, send messages, things like that. And that's where we talk about chatbots in a minute. And the third group of people, possibly the most vulnerable people on the planet when it comes to those that are connected, are people who are connected to a network or the internet in some shape or form. So through a feature phone, or as I call it, a dumb phone, or even and a SIM card, or even the radio stations. Penetration, especially if we look at this continent, sub-Saharan Africa, radio is penetrating everywhere. And I would really encourage people to start thinking about this mode of communication to reach people, vulnerable people. So we're going to focus on these 2 audiences. We've had, as I said, 150 odd projects with the tech industry in the last 3 years. I'm going to only talk about 5. So fasten your seatbelts, hold on to your hats. It's going to go quick. But these are 5 projects which are really dear to me because they hit these 2 demographics here. As I said, the most vulnerable people on the planet. So of course, the first one, the main one, is what we do with our chatbots. And with that linked to our AI work and our digital humans. Obviously, our digital humans don't really impact the second and third tier, but at the same time, it would be a miss if I don't include this in my presentation. I'll just mention those. And they do work like a chatbot. You talk to them and they talk back. In fact, they talk back to me faster than my friends do, which is maybe more about me than about my products. But it's interesting to see we do have digital humans, because that's, for me, the future. As connectivity gets bigger and better and faster, digital humans will be able to help and reinforce the workforce. So we've mentioned it several times today, we have an incredible WhatsApp chatbot in the service. Again, I have to take my hat off. I've said it before, but Pray, Kelt, Turn, and WhatsApp team itself have been instrumental in getting us this off the ground and running and managed. And the strategic planning and insights that they give us is second to none. And I want to mention that just because the power of partnerships is so important. We literally can't do anything that we do at WHO without these key partnerships. So please bear that in mind when you're thinking about your next product, is who are you going to partner with on the content, who are you going to partner with on the translation, on the technology, on the management, on the strategy of all of your products, the whole life cycle from cradle to grave. Of course, WhatsApp has penetration all over the world, but there are other bots as well, other services and other platforms which are reaching other populations. In Japan, for example, Line is used. Neither Viber nor WhatsApp are there, but we use mainly these three products, Viber, Facebook, and Messenger. And the way we look at it is we have one set of content which we translate and then distribute to all of these bots. It makes it a little bit easier for us to manage the translation process, which I mentioned earlier is a bit of a nightmare on that side. This is really interesting for people with low bandwidth. I'm preaching to the choir here, I appreciate that. But people with low bandwidth use WhatsApp because it's actually low-cost data packages which are being sent over the network. Also, if there's connectivity issues, it'll go when you're connected. So the next time you're there, it'll go. It also allows you to speak to multiple people at the same time. All you have to do is look at some of the WhatsApp groups in India, where they have hundreds of people, and this is how often messages go viral. All you have to do is tap into one good WhatsApp group in India, and your message will go viral. So we have 10 plus bots around the thing. We've got, I think one of the largest bots when it comes to WhatsApp with regards to total number of users. We're now trying to find out how to capitalize on those users and these incredible volumes that we've got. I think we were very lucky that we launched at the right time when there was a huge appetite for this, where people were sitting at home and people were looking for a credible source of health information. And we just happened to be lucky that we had vision from Mark Zuckerberg himself and the WhatsApp team to help us step this up, and then Pray, Kelt, and Turn coming up behind. We stepped up this bot in a week, and we really have to write this up from almost like a book point of view, because people don't really appreciate how enormous that task was. And then how greedy, nudgy, and annoying I can be with my partners who are doing all this pro bono to say, I want it bigger, I want it better, I want it in 5 languages. Next week, can we launch in Swahili? And these people are probably scotch taping the back end. They're changing policies at WhatsApp in real time so that we can actually do our business. And then there's me nudging and groaning and getting grumpy, saying, come on, guys, why don't we do this? We have a whole new language that we should launch by next Thursday. So this was an incredible project. The reach, we're short of 20 million on our chatbots. It's big numbers, but so what? Let's go back to that so what later on. We've had a whole gamut of products. The quick challenge, I don't want to just talk about COVID, even though obviously my speech is COVID-centric because that's consumed my life for the last 3 years. But we are looking to see how chatbots can become interventions to help people. Help people with mental health issues, help people deal with alcoholism, help people deal with domestic violence and domestic abuse. Of course, smoking. Smoking is a huge issue. We want to stop people getting sick, right, rather than help people be cured of sickness. So we're spending a lot of time and effort thinking about how can we engage populations to move more, to eat better, and not to smoke. But if they are smoking, we want to help them quit. If they are eating badly, we want to build nutrition and ideas. We met a fantastic guy yesterday called the Spinach King. Is that his name? Spinach King. What a wonderful man. A social entrepreneur that's bringing healthy eating to some of the areas in Cape Town. And so that's the kind of health nutrition education we want to do. We want to use bots to do that, help people make healthy decisions and stay safe. Well, digital humans are currently talking about mental health and COVID, vaccine confidence, and the one in South America at the moment, which is being launched, is Pahola, talking about alcohol abuse. These digital humans looking at the way, so they're empathetic. So when you're talking to a human, they use a technique called mirroring. So if you're sad, they look sad. Because if you're telling your friend a sad story and they're laughing, it's a little bit rude, right? So that's what humans do. If you're, looking for comfort, they nod, they sideward nod. And if you're happy, they'll smile with you, even though you don't know quite what they're going to say. So our digital humans try and mimic that. Give them a go when you have a chance. I don't know where we're going to take these digital humans. Should we be in the metaverse, waiting for everybody to arrive? And if so, how do we get there? We're not a technology company. So again, picking the brains of partnerships. And why I mention that is the power of partnerships. Being able to convene a meeting of like-minded individuals who are content and platform agnostics who will help us with our strategy is so important. And from WHO's point of view, as a leader in some of this space, because we're lucky in that shape, in that space, how do we then write about it so that everyone knows? Okay? So the second project I want to tell you about is something which is a little bit interesting, a little bit new. Those of you who have been in mobile technologies may know this, especially if you're from the corporate sector. Rich Communication Services is a service which will allow your operator, so Vodacom in South Africa maybe, to push a notification to your phone. You don't need an app or anything, it will just appear. And you'd be like, oh, what's this? Of course, because it's somebody you're paying for a service, you think, oh, there's going to be an outage or something, so I'll definitely engage with it. The people engage with it, and it starts a small chatbot service. This is one of the things that I'm very proud of, because actually the ripple effect of our WhatsApp chatbot is reflected here. We took the content and replicated it here. What this means is that the person has a quick interaction, they learn something about their health, in this case, how to stay safe and keep your family safe, and then they can engage and subscribe to our chatbots. The good thing is, it's being pushed everywhere. So if you have a smartphone, so if you're in tier 1 and tier 2, you get this message and you interact with it. But what's clever is that the mobile operators know if you don't have a smartphone, and they'll send you a series of text messages, data-free, which you can engage with. And so far, we've reached 300 million people, a lot of them in sub-Saharan Africa and Far East Asia, in some of the most remote islands on the planet. So extremely proud of this project. Obviously, we've also reached people in developed countries with just rich communication services. This is such a new technology that when we came out with our engagement rates, the industry actually didn't believe it, because their engagement rates are about 3 or 4% when they come to selling products, because they pay a lot to do it. And we've got a huge amount of, our engagement rates are through the roof, so crazy that people don't believe us. And the point of that is give people content that they want, not what you think they want. Again, going back to the research element of this. I know this is Chat for Impact, and two of the projects I'm going to talk to you about today, this one and the last one, are less about the impact and the ability to chat to each other. But again, it would be amiss of me not to talk about these projects because they are reaching some of the most vulnerable people on the planet. So I don't know if you know about Free Basics, but Free Basics allows certain websites to be data-free. So that means there is no cost to the user to surf this content. For WHO, cost of access to health information is a human right. We don't put anything behind a paywall. We won't work with companies who say, well, let's put your content behind this $15 a month subscription. We'll just say no, put it in front. It's a human right to have health information. This Free Basics we've got now, and I think in 9 or 10 languages. We've got 10 million users consuming this content in 180 countries, including countries where it's banned, which is quite interesting, to see those kind of figures. Really important for us in this shape. Again, the technology allows us to put it in multiple languages. My website and my web team, which I used to run, if I want to add a new language, it costs me $100,000 and it'll take me 2 years. This, quite agile, quite good systems, which will allow us to reach people very quickly in languages which we can't normally do on the website. So a much thinner version. You obviously can't have videos and many photos here because it's data free. But again, the telecom unit carriers bear the cost of this product. Again, reaching people in the second tier especially who have cost issues when it comes to, and also bandwidth because it's very light, right? Viamo, I was glad to see that, I didn't even know today that Callum was in the room, so great to see Viamo here today. We had a great partnership with Viamo. Viamo is one of these companies that do pre-recorded voice messages. So basically, they took our content, they made it sexy and interesting, they spoke it, they recorded it, and they put it on their platform. And what this allows is people with a feature phone to just dial up a data-free, cost-free call center, and through indexing and voice recognition, get content and information. And what we've done, of course, is on COVID, but like with everything we do, and this is one of the things we're doing with Viamo, is we want to now use everything we've learned from COVID to actually start tackling other health topics which are killing more people on the planet. So a really exciting project which has got plenty of scope, reaching some of the poorest people. They also reach the illiterate, right? Because you don't need to be able to read or write to access this service. So another hugely important group of people who can be served with health information through digital channels. The final project I'm going to talk about, and I've alluded to it before, is our relationship with Farm Radio International. They work with a network of 1,000 radio stations, again, mostly sub-Saharan Africa. What we try and do with them is create radio program exemplars which we can send to radio stations and say, this is what a radio program on this health topic would look like. And then for the producers of that content would go off and produce their own stuff. We're now toying with the fact of creating content, whether it's PSAs, service announcements for people, which we will give them in a digital format that they can play. But I think the localization is so important. And this is very dear to me, this project, because when I started my work at WHO, I was deployed almost immediately to Sierra Leone and West Africa to help Ebola. And I was told on Thursday, listen, we need you in Sierra Leone offices by Tuesday. You'll come and you're going to help me reach all Sierra Leoneans with digital. I was like, great, I'm packed, got on the plane, stopped in Paris, and I thought, I wonder how many people in Sierra Leone have access to the internet. And that's where I started to panic, because they don't, right? Only 4% at the time penetration of the internet in Sierra Leone. So I landed in Sierra Leone, Freetown, and said, hey, I don't think I'm going to be much use, because the 4% probably are working in the ministries, are very wealthy, and are connected and know about Ebola. So how do we tell the others? And he says, well, you're here for 6 months, you better bloody figure it out. So I went away, and in a moment of clarity, I realized that actually radio penetration again was 99%, 98, 99% in Sierra Leone and neighboring countries. So our target audience became those 25 radio stations. We no longer tried to reach Sierra Leoneans. It was a business-to-business product that we were offering them. I literally phoned up every single one of my target audience in one day, and I said, hey, we have this service, here's the URL, please log on now and download these radio programs, and please then push them out to your audiences. And that's how we were able to use digital in a way to reach audiences that may be not even connected to the internet. So the partners that we work with are here. Of course, you can see that in our inner circle of trust is both Prekel, Turn. They are, of course, hugely important, but I deal with them less often because they're the guys that they don't let out much. They're the engineers. This is like Christmas for them because they're allowed out. So those in Prekelt and Turn, I just want to say a huge thank you on behalf of WHO for everything you do. You guys are amazing. I don't know half of you personally, but I'm meeting some of you today. It's really inspiring to meet you all as individuals, and I'm so glad that this event has let you out and to come and socialize with humans, and well done for everything you do. And on that note, I'd just like to say thank you very much, and love to have some questions.